Morning, everyone. You know, when we have a crisis like we're in the middle of this week, the American people expect their leaders to sit down and try to resolve their differences. I was at the White House the other night and listened to the president some 20 times explain to me why he wasn't going to negotiate. Sat there and listened to the majority leader in the United States Senate describe to me that he's not going to talk until we surrender. And then this morning, I get the Wall Street Journal out, and it says, well, we don't care how long this lasts because we're winning. Now, this isn't some damn game. The American people don't want their government shut down, and neither do I. All we're asking for is to sit down and have a discussion and to bring fairness, reopen the government, and bring fairness to the American people under Obamacare. It's as simple as that. But it all has to begin with a simple discussion. I reminded the president the other night that he's famous for saying, well, you know, in a negotiation, nobody gets 100% of what they want. We're not going to get it in this one either. Listen, the issue right now is the continuing resolution to open the government. And all we're asking for is for Harry Reid to appoint conferees so we can sit down and have a conversation about bringing fairness to the American people and getting our government open. Listen, you've all heard me say this going back over the last 2 or 3 years. Our goal here wasn't to shut down the government. Our goal here was to bring fairness to the American people under Obamacare. I don't believe that we should default on our debt. It's not good for our country. But after 55 years of spending more than what you bring in, something ought to be addressed. This year, we'll have more revenue than any year in the history of our country and yet still have a nearly $700 billion deficit. And I think the American people expect if we're going to raise the amount of money we can borrow, we ought to do something about our spending problem and the lack of economic growth in our country. We sent 4 bills to the United States Senate, 4 different positions, trying to soften our position to get the Senate interested in keeping the government open and bringing fairness to the American people under Obamacare. It's as simple as that. I have very good relationships with all of my colleagues across the aisle. It's me. And maintaining these relationships is critically important. All I'm asking for is let's sit down like the American people would expect us and talk to one another about getting the government open and dealing with the significant problems that we face.